This podcast is a production of Unfiltered Studios. If you would like to know more about joining Unfiltered Studios, please visit our website at unfpod.com for more information.
Once again, everyone, we always do an annual fitness and mental health discussion, and I always have invaluable guests, everyone from entrepreneurs to social benefits to just even counselors, and it's just always benefiting. Everybody is able to tie it all together in their day-to-day routine, schedule, and work. And so joining us is, once again, Lioness, TeLaine, actress and director. Welcome.
Thank you.
And we also have Carolyn Kiel from the Beyond 6 Seconds podcast. Welcome.
Right, thank you. It's Carolyn Kiel.
Carolyn Kiel from the Beyond 6 Seconds podcast. Welcome.
That's it. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So, altogether, I got to say, so many podcasts are just shying away from just self-reflection. It's kind of just like a give and take, or just share info, but it's very selective. With these chats, I was just hoping to just kind of just have every chat be a little more loose, but also just way more honest, to the point. But it is interesting how you can't have one without the other. Like, mental health impacts everything, including how you work out, and a workout definitely, there's good ones and there's definitely bad ones that are outdated, that are proven to not work. So, but they also impact how we think about ourselves and our social reflection. So again, that's why I just was figuring, hey, a lot of podcasts will do a mental health discussion or a fitness and health discussion. It was like, yeah, we kind of got to tie the two together because they are both complementary. Lioness, where does either of these factor into your day-to-day routine?
That's a great question, because I'm really big on that, especially with juggling so much these days.
Yes.
It's very imperative to have a very good balance for that. So for me personally, I'm kind of really big on just quiet time.
Yes.
And that's really important. And the simplicity of it, we really overlook, but the impact, my goodness, so I work daily to have a lot of quiet time to myself, because those are where the best ideas come, and that's the space, I guess, that I can kind of come up with solution and resolutions to things, and in silence you grow as well, just because you can kind of hear more and process more. So I like to sit in silence. I like to meditate a lot. That is kind of my meditation. I try to limit my phone time. I really actually just don't like talking these days on the phone.
No, I hear you. That's a really lovely point, because I've always done it with work, where I would give myself like 6 to 20 minutes, just clear my mind and everything, not check email, make use of the lunch break to just kind of get a moment of silence, clear my mind. But meditation is very invaluable. I didn't take it all that seriously for a while, just because it seemed just the music just was not working for me. But I do use an awesome, I'm endorsing it, but I am not in any way a sponsor of this device. Yes, Omnipimp is a awesome device. It imitates brain waves, and it's very invaluable for me, I find, in just meditating. You put it in the back of your head, or you can put it under your pillow. It's a non-disruptive, soundless device, but anything you are comfortable with to use to meditate, yeah, definitely just it should be much like food, where it's your invisible checklist. You're not going to forget to do it. You're going to make time for it every night or day. Yeah, I'm with you. It's like you need a moment of silence. You need just something to just say, hey, I am not interacting right now. I am kind of like a computer. I am refreshing. I am clearing my mind so I can make way for other information I have to pay attention to.
Right.
Miss Kiel, how about yourself?
Yeah, gosh. So, yeah, I really need to prioritize making more sort of quiet time and rest and meditation in my life. I know I used to meditate a while ago and then got out of the habit, but it was something that was really helpful. One thing that kind of helps me is that I like to kind of sing along to YouTube videos of songs that I like. I actually am a singer, and I noticed a while ago that I kind of just stopped casually singing like around the house or anything. So I'm like, I feel like that's just sort of important for me to be able to just kind of like, it's like a release. Like it doesn't have to be like good or bad or whatever. It's just songs that I particularly like and just being able to sing along with them. So I've been trying to do that more often, and that's kind of been nice, at least from a mental health standpoint. And then, and then from a fitness standpoint, it's funny. I actually started strength training a couple years ago, and
nice.
my workout was earlier today, so I'll probably be feeling the pain in my legs in a couple hours as the lactic acid starts forming. But anyway, so I do like lifting weights, and I have a trainer that I work with, and it's been really great because I haven't really been able to get into fitness over the years until I discovered weight training and really, really enjoyed it and really find a lot of good results from it. So I enjoy doing that.
I hear you on that part. Yeah. I basically, the thing that stinks about being a guy, men are afraid to admit when they've failed. And I was so busy trying to not let anyone down that I also took years to just address, wow, I let myself down by not working out much. I disliked working out that much to a T, but realized, hey, I was suffering from insomnia for a while, and it's like, to combat that, I do have to be active. Where can I fit that in? Because work's not enough. And one key thing that is wonderful for getting a better night's sleep is the resistance training. And I was like, that's totally up my alley, because I hate dealing with the weights, but you need to do something that just, it not only energizes you, but strengthens your arms. And so, yeah, I found a bunch of just kind of what they're basically portable crowbars and everything, where you can just use elastic pulleys and everything, and you can take that with you everywhere. You can pack it up in a gym bag unintrusively, especially if you have to travel. And what was the biggest undertaking I found is you still have to be ready to take a plunge, because obviously, I know you also know this, Linus, from also just working on film. Just there's nothing worse than what can I do differently, and not what will I not do next time. I was having to do that not only with when I did indie film work, but also my security day job. I also figured out, hey, with exercise, you're going to have to figure out, unfortunately, you're going to have to figure out what you're doing wrong. And I just I was so worn out of getting a bad night's sleep. I'm like, well, it's unfortunately going to have to continue until you get it right. So I was finding, hey, I'm getting annoyed at how much time and money that this is still racking up, but you still have to learn what workouts you can cut back on, which ones you still need. And then again, that factors into, again, what could I not eat? What should I eat more of? That, and still, again, take 10 minutes to just clear your mind and say, hey, you're doing a good job. You're making yourself proud. You're making other people proud. But yeah, I was finding out the hard way. Hey, instead of going to the gym for swimming and resistance training, I need to just stick to these kinds of just pulley weights. That's getting the job done way better and for less, and it's free.
Yeah.
But you still got to waste time and money on it to factor it in. And that's the bad part. Everyone likes to save a buck. And it's like,
Mhm.
well, you still got to
Yeah.
waste time and money to realize the product is not working and you don't actually need it.
Yeah. Yeah, you have
Yeah.
to find something that fits in with, that's easy enough to fit into your schedule and your rhythm of your life. Otherwise,
Mhm.
at least for me, like I just won't do it, or I'll do it once or twice and then I'll just stop. So
Yeah.
you have to remove as many barriers as possible to that.
But
So
yeah.
I can attest to that. I recently just invested into some home equipment because for me, the motivation is there. Like I'm not demotivated to work out and to, get some movement going and be committed, I guess. But it's just for me the routine of it, getting dressed, going and commuting to the
Yes.
gym, and just the whole rigmarole. And that's the part that's demotivating. So I just
Yes.
finally invested into, just some simple stuff. I personally like the weights, so I invested into some weights. And so now I just, whenever I feel like I want to get some work in, then I go right to my living room and I don't have to worry about being demotivated.
I totally hear you on
Mhm.
that. To their credit, I thought LA Fitness was invaluable and delightful, wonderful customer service. They kind of had a no jerks policy, so if anyone was being, running in each other's lane or hogging the equipment, you could use them as the moderators. Say, hey, so and so's just sitting there. They're not letting me use, the bench press, or they jumped in my, swimming lane without my permission. Not trying to hog this, but there's no way to swim with two people in that lane. I'm sorry, it's just not going to happen. So why don't they hang out in the hot tub and then just give me 5 minutes and they can swim here? So it is interesting how having the unwritten rules, sometimes you got to just display them more in the gym. But I knew many who used some of the other fitness places. Which gym were you using?
Fist Connection. Mesquite.
Connection. Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know that one. But I know
Mhm.
what you mean though. Like it's kind of the stepping stool, if you will, is like, okay, now I'm making this part of my life. Now I'm figuring out where I can factor this in my life, and now I'm figuring out how to make that be second
Right.
nature at home instead of
Right.
I have to make the drive now. And if traffic's not on my side, if weather's not on my
Yeah.
side, if it's closed for the holiday, that was the biggest thing to overcome. Is like I'm just getting stressed out. Is like, do I have enough time to go there and here? And it's like, no. So I'll do this here.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
telling myself no, and then I actually don't need it, that was a big, I had to find other ways to kind of de stress, get rid of that anxiety that builds up over time.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And it is interesting how everyone has a friend who's prioritized fitness already, and people like to, compare bodies and everything. I find it interesting how everyone everyone also has to remember, much like food, is like that workout works for them, doesn't work for you, and here's why. But it is interesting how everyone at first is like, oh no, we need to get on the same program. It's like, well, that person might, break an arm just doing that kind of workout. They just don't have that stamina or build. And again, it's not going to happen overnight too. So I think the hardest part is the patience, the waiting period. It's like, if I want to build to that, I have to incorporate this and try that out.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always a process. Yeah. That's kind of the part that's you have to commit to too, is the process.
Yeah.
hmm Yeah. And then almost building it into a habit, and
Yes.
working out, even if you're not motivated on a certain day and you really don't want to, you just sort of, it's like, well, this is what I do. It's sort of like I brush my teeth because I have to. It's not like I want to. It's like, oh, I go work out at this time. And yeah, again, just making it easier. Like I used to work out. My townhouse complex has like a fitness room. So I was doing my workouts there. And then, during the pandemic, like there was no fitness room and no gym. So I bought like over time a collection, as they became available, of a collection of dumbbells. So now I have them in the basement. So like that's where I work. So there's no excuse for me. Like if my trainer shows up at my house and it's like, okay, we're doing it now. Like, okay, I guess we're working out now.
It's right
so
there.
I literally need that level of motivation.
It is interesting though how the apartments kind of had those free gyms, so that was another invite. But at the same time, it's like, what if someone broke the dumbbells machine? Or
Yep.
It's like, well, now you're giving me an excuse to get all angry about something I can't avoid.
Yeah.
How do you guys kind of just filter out your world, do you think, as a result of taking time for fitness? Like, do you think it has really helped you improve clearing your mind and preparing for the overall day, whether you do it at the start or at the end of the day?
I think so. I know for me, it helps me a lot because I'm naturally like athletic. So I have to have that aspect in my life just naturally. So, but overall, I mean, it definitely keeps me going. Actually, just 2 days ago, I started kind of beginner Tai Chi walking.
Oh, that's impressive. My aunt does that.
I really love it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So I and instantly, I felt a huge difference, and I was like, oh my goodness, I need more of this. But ironically, when I went to school in high school, I attended an arts high school, and my major was theater. And one of my theater teachers was into Tai Chi, and so every Thursday, we would open the class with Tai Chi. So it literally just kind of brought back not only nostalgia, but just like a sense of wellness that I needed to go back to and incorporate. So to answer your question, it's definitely necessary, and it's definitely been impactful for sure.
That's a delight. I've had plenty of other buddies, especially who I met later in college, Manuel Lerma and Cloyce Carruthers, to name a few. And again, martial arts is their secondary to them and everything. But hearing how they got into it, that was the ultimate trip. It's like, whoa, you got into this just because you had a police officer's, cousin, or Cloyce, you got into this just because your uncle was in the military and he showed you just some simple, straightforward self-defense. I had taken beginner level like karate when I was like in middle school, and it didn't mean anything. It was basically 2 years and forget about it. But I understood the whole basis is like, it doesn't have to be just self-defense. It can be other kind of self-empowering and just overall better performance. But how everyone gets into it, that is the ultimate trip. So probably the closest I did to that was a stage combat class in college. We had to incorporate different sword fighting and everything. And unfortunately, though, there wasn't a way to really incorporate it outside of acting. So that was the interesting thing, where it's like, but at least mentally you're going there in terms of, hey, we're doing a pretend fight, but we're not actually landing a punch, or here's how we fight, even if we don't have an actual sword prop. But it is interesting how, Tai Chi is more just kind of, it's self-empowering, but it's also, it is legit kind of pretty peaceful. And supposed to enhance your brain as well. So that's good.
Oh,
yeah,
definitely. Yeah, I definitely notice a connection between like my mental state and physical state when I'm working out, because there are some times when I'm kind of stressed out, and even something as simple as walking on a treadmill for 10 or 15 minutes.
Yes.
I'll be like, I feel so much better. Wow. And it's like, all I did was just walk like kind of briskly on a treadmill. So that can help. And I also notice at the same time that if I'm just like really like super overloaded stress and I go to lift weights, I don't lift as well. I can't lift as heavy. I get distracted. I don't have bad form. So it's like, all right, there is a connection. Like if I'm mentally into it, I can lift heavier. So it's kind of interesting.
Yeah. it can be I think what's interesting though is how it transforms. Instead of being a love-hate relationship, it ends up being just, I don't look at this as a person. I look at this as just part of me now, as like, it must happen.
Mm-hmm.
It can't be forgotten. Unless I drive all day and just take some other just kind of pills for sleep, I don't get a good night's sleep. And so therefore I'm the crank. I don't want to be the crank. I must work out. It is required. Meditation, same thing. Gotta happen before going to sleep.
Yeah.
It's me time now, and it stinks having to kind of, what took a while was just explaining it as me time. Is like, I don't want to sound selfish, but yeah, I do need to take a moment to just kind of clear one's mind, de-stress before you're spending so much time preparing for the next day at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, there's just no other option. Made time for other people. Now it's a minute to yourself for the next 3 hours. But does anyone feel like their self-reflection has kind of grown over time?
Oh, for sure.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. The self-reflection, and it's really ironic that you asked that, because just how we were just speaking on, balancing, things and taking a healthy approach to, just keeping peace in our lives. That helps you kind of deepen your self-reflection over time. And, as you continue to evolve, so does your reflection points. And even, how you reflect, why you're reflecting. It just really kind of enhances overall your relationship with yourself. So I can definitely attest to that. Really big on self-reflecting.
That's great that it's paid off for you. I took some sociology and psychology senior year of high school. It always stayed with me. But I think the problem was I didn't apply it to myself. I was so busy kind of learning the course, the curriculum, the different terms. I forgot to actually apply it in my life, I found. And so it opened the door, but if I had to do it over again, I wish I could have just kind of kept reading up on it. Because another common thing, unfortunately, is when you get so stressed out and tired from studying, you still have to remind yourself, hey, I still have to keep learning just because I have a degree. That doesn't mean you stop your studies just because there's no teacher, sending you a group text reminder saying, hey, where's the exam paper that's due. Is like, it should always kind of be, much like anything we use, any skill set is like, still got to do a refresher once in a while. I've found that every once in a while I'll just look up new terms, and it's like, wow, that often gets mistaken for this term. That's not the same definition. With mental health, it is kind of still disgusting that we're seeing different terminology be thrown around as like, hold on a second, mental deficit, not the same as, actual mental health, and same thing as a mental illness, same thing. That's similar, but we're talking about, a whole different deal there. And many are just afraid to kind of break that down because, again, we're having to just be human for a minute. It's okay to admit, hey, I have this limitation. I think the most men like to admit is, I'm just really bad at learning this. I can't speak for women and what they prefer to categorize, but it is interesting how, again, the fear of failing is still just persistent. And it's like, well, how else will I learn? I have to do something wrong in order to, and then I have to take note.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of societal pressure, or just pressure that we feel growing up, from all our different experiences.
You have
about
to talk
that
fancy,
fear of failure.
Wear a suit. It's like, no.
It all ties into that. And some people, may have a lot of shame around it. Some people may just be literally afraid because they, it was such a high stakes for them in the past or currently. So I think people have a complicated relationship with failure and being open to talk about mistakes and being authentic. And And that's one thing with my podcast, Beyond 6 Seconds. I have people on the show who talk about growing up with, it focuses on neurodiversity. So people talk about having different types of disabilities, like learning disabilities or being autistic or having ADHD. I've even talked with people who have schizophrenia. So we really get into a lot of that, shame and stigma. And I'm always amazed how people are really willing to be on my show and be very open and candid and clearly have done a lot of self-reflection on their own to be able to say, like, this is what was going on in my life and this is what it was really like for me. This is sort of where I am now and what works for me and what didn't work for me. And just listening as I go back and edit the episodes and get to hear the conversation again, it does kind of make me think about, my own self-reflection and be like, well, my guests are really thinking about what they, what's important in their lives and how do I apply that to things that have happened in my own life? So that's how I go from there.
That's a good point. I think the biggest issue is schizophrenia and both DID, dissociated identity disorder, are also often confused. It's like similar, but DID, it's more of a memory gap, amnesia for a time, while schizophrenia is more of a hallucinations, delusions,
Yeah. And I'm learning every single time I talk with people. I learn completely new things. But but as you said before, there is still a lot of, just not a lot of understanding around, certain type aspects of mental health and neurodivergence. So, yeah.
People like to let a TV show do the talking. It's like, that's work of fiction. That's if you want anything resembling real life, you should be watching a documentary.
Yeah.
It's frustrating, but hey, human nature. So does anyone kind of, I guess, what would be another good contrast to this, goal setting? Has anyone found that their setting goals has changed over time, or do you kind of use a variation of what you've known since, your upbringing?
I think mine's definitely changed over time because we all develop over time and we evolve over time. So your goals change with that. What I used to want, 5-10 years ago, it's not the same thing that I want now. And I think that once we flow in the energy of like, just like a transformative energy, then we really do accomplish more. Because sometimes trying to fixate on goals that we had when we were in a completely different space can kind of hinder, growth and it can stagnate you. So I think that for sure goals definitely change as you change and they should.
Oh, totally. And whenever I had to memorize just a speech for class or even in film, obviously writing it down is the only way that I'm able to memorize it. Obviously there's different ways, but it just writing anything down in general, that will make you remember just anything, whether it's a new term, whether it's someone else's name. And it's like, it's the oldest trick in the book, pen to paper a few different times and repeat. But yeah, I definitely make use of the Google Calendar or just the calendar on our phones. It's just, it's there for a reason. And it's interesting how instead of just doing a checklist and feeling bad, just like, I look forward to deleting this event from the calendar. It's done.
Yep. I love checking off things off the to-do list. My favorite things.
Same. Good energy.
Good energy. You kind of let the stress that's built up, if any, you finally it can go.
Yeah.
How about you, Miss Kiel?
See, for goals, as very similar. A lot of the goals that I had 5 years ago, 10 years ago, have completely changed. So things change over time. I think I probably used to be more disciplined about having goals, or like even if it's just one or two goals, like the New Year's resolutions or things like that in the past. But lately I haven't been doing it as much because, again, things have changed. I've, achieved some of those goals that I spent years and years striving for. And in some ways, my goals are a little bit looser. Like some of my goals are just sort of like maintenance goals. I'm like, okay, this part of my life is pretty good. I just want to like keep it going for as long as possible. And what do I need to do in order to be able to do that?
But
But
they never said it couldn't repeat or
I know it just repeats over and
be
over.
rebranded.
But one thing that I do, again, going back to my podcast, is I do like a year-end episode, which actually forces me to look back on what I did the past year and be like, oh, and remember, because half the time, like I try to, as you said, write it down as it happens, because I forget like 75% of what I did the whole year. And I'm looking back at my notes. I'm like, oh, that was this year. Oh, I forgot I was on this show. And oh, we did this. So then I'll record it. And then it also forces me to talk about what I want to do next year, even if it's just like a very high level goal. So in some ways, again, I have to force myself into that structure. Otherwise, I just won't do the goal setting or the reflection back and sort of appreciating what I've accomplished for the year.
Life is a mirror.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. It's like, yeah, I'm trying to not sound like a broken record. Am I out of things to talk about? Nope, I still got plenty, but I've talked about this. Maybe I need to talk about this more.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, man. And it's just so enlightening after a while. It's like, man, why am I freaking out about this? Why am I getting stressed out about this? This is second nature. I've accomplished this before. I've done it right. I don't have to worry about that. I should put more energy and thought into some other action, some other decision making. I find that improv comedy that I learned in college was a good way of just deflating the stress, kind of it allowed more flexibility. It's like, hey, instead of doing this, instead of plan A or B, I got plan C through F, and I can commit to any of those. So now let's go with what do I feel strongest about? I need to do a road trip for this assignment. Maybe I do a plane ride for this assignment. It doesn't have to be a one or two way street.
Yeah. Improv comedy is like one of the most, like doing it, I enjoy watching it, but like having to do it is like probably one of the most terrifying experiences that I've ever had. It's just like clearly it makes it very obvious to me, like, okay, I'm very like, structured and buttoned up. So, and for improv, you really have to be loose and free associate and partner with the other people on stage. And I'm like, oh wow, this is like so out of my comfort zone. So it's a wonderful thing to be able to do and excel at. But I'm like, oh wow, this is tough.
Believe it or not, I was in a class where most of the people in that class were not trying to get into comedy. They were trying to get into like business, develop their public persona. So some of them were going to become entrepreneurs and realtors. They just wanted to have that whole just persona. Mm-hmm. But what they found was the number one tool in it is just listening. And it's like, see, don't be thinking about what you're going to retort and say back. Just listen to what they said, and something else will come out organically that you didn't even know you had the vocab for. It's just the spur of the moment. And so I still, when I started this podcast, I cringed. It's like, I responded. I forgot the first part. I didn't listen. So that answer, I could have given a little more response to that question or statement they were saying, play off of that instead of try and fit in this other note or this other thing that was on our mind. And so, listening, just the number one skill. It's like, okay. And just when you think that's the feedback that hurts the most, but you will gain the most, is like, okay, I thought I worded that clearly. I thought I was listening. I was a quarter of the time listening. That's not good. So let's get those Q-tips out. Let's listen a little more,
Yeah, it really is a skill. I mean, people seem to think that listening is just like not talking, but it's like a lot more than that.
And I'm sure everyone's been either in a boring boardroom meeting or at a cringeworthy just interview for a job. And the best part is when someone goes, and so that's where anytime anyone responding that way is now that's where you say, and what did I just say?
Right.
You can't name anything. Okay. So just but at the same time, I also find myself not wanting to spend time just giving a negative response to a negative reaction. I'm like, I'm just going to move on. You'll learn eventually. And I'm not going to bring out the worst part of me responding to your worst part, that's also unproductive. So it's where I just kind of politely move on. It's like, okay, they'll let me know. They'll come back if they're actually interested.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just they're
Yeah.
bored, so a negative side of them is showing.
Yeah. Yeah. I think for me, like the at least the improv part, um, that's kind of like, or can be, the basic foundation of, acting is listening. Because especially when you're coming from the theater side, which is the side that I came from before I went into film, that was just like a foundational thing you had to have. It's just being a good listener. I mean, and when you're on stage and you're in front of a crowd, you may forget lines, you may have to respond organically, and there's a laugh in there, but you don't the laugh shouldn't sound performative. It should sound natural, organic, and so you have to listen, you have to so there's things that cross over in life in general, because it makes you more aware. It makes you more of a people person, and just knowing how to convey and listen and respond.
I do love it though when someone forgets their line. Is like, that means you know the script better than them. You might want to play that part.
You're right.
But again, we can't possibly play all the parts unless it's a more Shakespeare in the Park type routine. So it's like, yeah. It also, I guess, just reminds everyone, hey, just be a little extra prepared. If you got to give a sermon, if you got to give a speech, if you got to, I don't know, meet up for some other training course and you're the trainer on deck today, it's like, everyone's going to pay attention to the person with energy. I don't think anyone's going to pay attention to anyone who's just barely slept, looking at their watch, doing other nervous habits, So, yeah, sometimes just not only just from listening, I'm finding just the smallest things. That's what sets someone off. So just, moving my hands way too nervously around, that's getting everyone off the rocker. They're like, whoa, dude, are you having a stroke? What's happening? So, and I found in college, I had to also just cut out anything cynical, any smart ass comment. It's got to go. It's going to do more bad. It's really not going to do any good. You might get one or two laughs, but it'll be short lived, And I guess that there's several times where I find social media is now the place where you learn what your true persona is in terms of distant reactions. I find is like, okay, I have nothing nice to say to this post. Moving on to the next post that I feel I can contribute to. And then there's other times where it's like, now I'm not even reacting to this post. I want to share it. I think it's for a good cause. I think someone else would like that upvote. And at the same time is like, yeah, but don't do this all night either, so like next 10, 20 minutes, going to keep track. If I have to set an alarm clock, I'll do it. That'll be a way better use of everyone's time. How's everyone kind of factoring out kind of just other factors that are unavoidable? Just whether it's seeing depressing news and anything. Obviously, we kind of talked at the beginning. You don't want to do it at the end of the night. That's terrible timing.
Right.
What other ways that you kind of just start anew and avoid others' potential stress causers?
For me, sometimes it's the music that I listen to.
That's good.
That's like a really big thing that I think a lot of us overlook just as a collective is what we're listening to. I mean, that's literally going into both of our ears and into the brain.
And these red light glasses are also wonderful at just getting rid of that blue light that all these screens emit. Obviously, we can, for anyone who doesn't have them, we can always set our phones to nighttime mode. But I find that's a good use. But it does stink how a lot of them recommend don't look at the phone before bedtime. Like, well, what if I'm reading something on there? I find as long as it's not a video, I'm not getting my mind distracted by anything.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
there's several ways to shut it off. I think the hardest part is telling everyone that's impossible. I've done it all my life. It's like, yeah, well, now it's time to give it a try.
Yeah.
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 If you miss it, then something's wrong.
Yeah. And just kind of, I guess, monitoring, the content that you would take in general. Like, I literally do not watch the news. I don't watch the news at all. You can't pay me to watch the news because it's just it's such a depressing program. So I have to find other outlets to get my news and to stay abreast. So, which is fine. I'm okay. Mostly social media does a great job at that, depending on what you follow and who you follow. So those are great de-stressors for me is not watching the news.
Yeah. I hear you.
I'm realizing from our conversation here that I probably don't have very many good ways of de-stressing. Like, I think, because I totally relate. Like, yeah, I don't watch the news either, but I am on social media, and I realize if I'm on something like Threads, which is like all text-based, if I'm on there for 5 minutes, my nervous system is already like on fire because of the stuff that's coming through. Like, I want to stay informed, so I need to be on to like sort of know what's going on, but you can't stay too long, otherwise, like you'll be up all night, and it's just it sucks you in. That's how it's designed.
Oh, totally. If I see people just being pills, I just, the block button is my friend. It's like, I don't care if I run into this person at a meeting. This just, I don't need to see that social media presence, and I didn't ask to run into it. But I think the biggest annoyance is when people do at everyone. I find one way that's around to get around that is just post something as a question on social media, and that's more different kind of interaction. That'll just pop up in everyone's feed as so and so who you follow or are friends with asked a question. I'm like, perfect. It's a little less intrusive instead of time to follow this. It's like, I don't know who this person is, and I can't go to that meeting, but nice to know you.
Yeah, it's like, oh, somebody pinged me. I have a notification. Oh, they pinged everybody. They just want me to read the post. It's nothing to do with me.
The at highlight.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I know some aren't trying to offend anyone. They're just trying to do, the basics and the different kind of interaction. And I also just try to let that go. It's just like, hey, it's not like someone threw a rock at your front window. It's okay. Yeah.
I think I maybe just have to watch more cat videos to balance it out.
That's a good de-stressor.
It is.
Instead of worrying about where the pet's fed, just watch a cool pet video.
Yeah.
I do listen to some history podcasts while I'm at work. There's just nothing more freeing than talking about forgotten history and listening to different scholars who are able to put this into just literally PBS format, where it's like, yeah, this is someone who actually wants to talk about something that schools are afraid to talk about, and probably underfunded in talking about.
Yeah.
So, but I also try to I just recommend, don't have that be the only thing you listen to. It's like, okay, so Monday when you get into work, you'll listen to that. Tuesday, you're going to listen to something different, probably a comedy show with one of your favorite DJs or comedians. And Wednesday, you can watch or listen to something else. That's also a little calming. But even bonus points if it's both funny and food for thought, that can work too. But don't do it all at once. Then that's where it's, memory overload. I've had some other pals recommend meditation music. It hasn't really worked for me, but I have seen it work for other peers. My dad uses it. Some of my neighbors use it. It's interesting how finding what other stuff works for others also is so underrated in terms of now you know what you can get them for next holiday season. It's like, I know just the thing for you. It's like, you're using this might buy you a good add-on. And being aware of other people's diets is also underrated. I know most people kind of just loosely acknowledge it. Yeah, so-and-so is allergic to this kind of wheat, or this kind of sugar upsets their stomach. It can be more than that. It's like, now I know a different kind of food that everyone can have, and I don't have to worry about using different ingredients or ordering from a different restaurant. Is like it's all kind of second nature now. And that goes back to the listening part, but I kind of value it more than ever because knowing what we know now, I kind of wish we still had it 20 years ago. It's just so many other people could have eaten better, I think. But
Yeah.
not where the dominoes fell. So live and learn. Well, if there's any other closing thoughts, I'll welcome them. But I feel like we've refilled the pool of thought for now, I think.
The only last thing that I
Sure.
would probably put in is just the meditation. There's different forms of meditation, music. One that has really helped me is like the sound bowls. I love. I actually have a few sound bowls.
That's nice.
For my own personal use. But there's a scale. I don't know if I'm gonna pronounce this right, but it's called Cephageo scale.
I think,
but it's basically
yeah.
So you've heard of that. So you've
Yes.
Okay.
I've seen it promoted. I use Theta as well. It's another kind of just the sound wave is being heard by it's tough to describe. Basically, it is making a sound. It's not really we're not hearing it, but it is present. And yeah, all they say just with Theta is just you can't be moving, otherwise, that's not meditating. Just sit back, relax, get comfy.
Yeah. So that's I love just being in that quiet space, like I've mentioned, and turning on maybe 528 hertz. Some of the other ones 469, I think.
Yes, that's
696.
Yep.
Yeah, 174, 741. I'm a numbers person in general, so anything that has anything to do with frequency and vibration and stuff like
it's
that.
Underrated.
Totally me. It's super underrated, but it's so helpful. I mean, it really changes. It can change a lot. It can change your thinking habits. It can, it's just really therapeutic and healing. It has a lot of spiritual and healing properties. So definitely.
And figuring out which of those hertz actually will be most impactful. It's just kind of like with pills. It's like I need this many milligrams, positive
Right.
outcome. I think that's what's so empowering is like now this isn't doing annoying math. This is just more just like factoring in, just kind of like how much butter do you want in your coffee? How much, how many slabs of PB&J do you need on the bread? It's kind of like just little small estimating, if you will. It's not, but it's not, if you will, just, it's not intrusive. Now it's just becoming second nature.
Yeah.
Like you say, it doesn't have to be a dent in the road. It can just be kind of just more casually, just like, I'll try this out. I'll experiment with that. I'll live and learn. I'll know after tonight if I want to keep proceeding or experimenting with that. And like you say, who's here to judge you except your room,
Right. Yep.
The room.
We're our own worst critics.
Yeah. The room doesn't have any feelings. But it is interesting how you can still make the room be a character in yourself. I found that despite restructuring our air conditioning, the room was getting overheated during the different cycles and weather. And I find that just adding more portable fans and charging them throughout the day is a good investment. That's really the only closing thing I will have is, if your room needs to be more warm or more cold to get a better night's sleep, or just adapt to the current weather conditions, by all means, try that, have a little heater in the corner.
That works too. Yep. Moving things, moving furniture around, because that's a shift in space.
Furniture, definitely.
Sometimes we need to move a chair over here or a couch back over here or move this, table here, it changes the chi in the room.
Yes.
And that's key for flow.
It definitely
So
flows.
I always switch it up.
I did BetterHelp about 2 years ago. Did that for about 6 months on and off. And I was like, whoa, I get annoyed by the smallest things, smallest. And it's built up over time. Never addressed it or talked about it with anyone. Why am I crying about this 20 years later? Got to get rid of it. Got to talk about it. And it can be just small things like, hey, this thing just makes me feel very claustrophobic. Or some other thing just comes in as just a phobia or just a fear or an annoyance. What can I do to change that and not? And why am I making it something that is really not? So these extra questionings of oneself, so integral. And
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I did have other pals who are like, don't ever see a therapist. They'll rip you off. I'm like, if they're a hack, if they're a bad one, sure. But that's the beauty of it. You can switch at any time. You'll know after the first session they are listening to me or not. But the biggest takeaway that just about every therapist uses is assertive communication. And it kind of goes back. It's not only part of listening, but also just, I love this kind of thing where it's give both sides a win. It's like, it kind of goes back to the whole meet me halfway thing,
Yeah.
So Lioness, let's say you got to share a car ride with a friend, and they're late every day. You're on time. It's, cutting into your work schedule. They're annoyed. You make some other offer saying, hey, if you could get up a little earlier, I'd get to work, faster. I'd be in a better mood when I get back home. You can have the car the rest of the day, something like that. I find other factors too, where it's like, hey, so-and-so, could you text, you get to the job site earlier. Could you please text that other, coworker? It really makes a difference, the communication that no one else is listening to. Okay, cool. I'll text them there. Can you do this for me in the meantime? Sure. Happy to. It's just kind of and let's say that doesn't work. My favorite example of assertive communication is, let's say, Kiel, you have a friend who wants you to go to a restaurant that you can't handle. You don't like that kind of food. It just doesn't agree with your stomach. You don't find it tasty. Hey, so instead of going to the pizza place that is just expensive and just is too greasy with the food, it's like, how about we go to the sandwich deli instead? Perfect. I love going there. You just found an in-between. You found a halfway point. I find with other friends, it's like, hey, this person's not a dog person, so they're not going to walk your dog, but they'll babysit your kid. That's fine. Just find some other segue help. I'll help you with this. I can't help you with that. I'm not skilled at it. I'm not comfortable being around it. It annoys me. Whatever the reason, find some other halfway point. It's like, hey, friend one, I can't cook for you, but I can help you with laundry. Friend free, hey, you've been coming home from work lately and you've been giving sob stories, but you're also kind of angering everybody with your fear and loathing. How about instead of doing that, how about we just meet at a happier place, and that way we can talk about stuff that's on your mind without it coming into, fears and sorrows. It's just, it's interesting how just like plan A and plan B aren't working. How about we try plan C, every time.
Yeah, it can be helpful to propose an alternative, and certainly in situations like that, absolutely. Or to help, if there is no obvious alternative, to kind of work with the person to think of what you could do differently. Yeah, there's all different ways to approach it, but yeah, it's communication is a big thing that I think people really stumble with. Like, I know I've had my own challenges with it and with relationships with friends and family, but yeah, it's just like listening. It's not quite as easy as people assume that it is.
the beauty of the in-between point is it also makes the other person realize, I'm stressing about this. I actually don't need help on that. It's just,
Yeah.
it makes them realize they're overthinking this. And we also realize I'm putting too much energy into this. They're good, but I wasn't sure they were good or not, So at least the whole thought of caring and consideration came forth. And it even goes into little small things make us even happier. It's like, let's say your grandparents is helping out their neighbor, and one of them says, I will help them, but it's not going to be with what they've asked. I'll help them with something else, that is going to ultimately catch up with them as an annoyance factor. Is like, yeah, I'm not going to clean your pool, but I'll mow your lawn. How about that? That's something you need done.
Yeah.
And then it's just kind of just other just little selfless things that we realize it then goes back into, I'm spending so much time on this. I actually don't need this product or this item or making time for this. This is making me realize I can do this instead. And that eats up less time. This causes less stress and annoyance. It's just factoring it away. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure, Lioness, you've had this with film sets. When you go into line producing, it's like, we only need 2 locations. We don't need 5. Location 4 and 5 just became part of location 2.
Yep, for sure.
And I forget what they call it. It's like deductive reasoning. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty underrated. I do that all the time at my security job. Is like, they'll want us to visit certain sites in a company car. And I'm always like, how about I go here first? This will eat up less time and distance, and I'll go to these 2 sites earlier. Everybody's happy. Got there in a better amount of time. Less time and stress was spent on it. And, ultimately, the job is all about just not only adapting, but making a little time for a few different things and not being predictable. Especially when you're doing banking, when you're doing security, when you're doing anything else, you do kind of want to be a little unpredictable once in a while. It's like, I'm closing down at this time instead of at that time. And it also just reminds yourself, hey, don't get too comfortable, Be a little more energetic. Don't be boring. Hey, this has been a delightful chat. Does anyone have anything they would love to plug in any way, shape, or form?
Yeah, for sure. So, as you all know, I'm a filmmaker, producer,
Yes.
director, and writer. And Dynasty, my sci-fi film, we won Best Film in Toronto, Canada. And so I'm like really excited about that. Cool. I founded nonprofit, Her 7 Colors, which, centers and spotlights, Black creators, specifically Black girls and the youth and, women in television and film. Nice. And with that, we're powering Black Creators International Film Festival, which is BCIFF. And I'm excited for that. We have a lot going on for that. We're in collaboration for our first inaugural film festival. We're in collaboration with the Soul of Sycamore music and art festival that happens annually in Fort Worth. And so they came to me and was like, hey, we've been doing our festival for years. We've never explored the film realm, though. Would you, bring a film arm to our festival? Essentially, it's still, my festival, but I'm collaborating with them the first year to bring forth the film aspect. And so I'm just really stoked for that. That's my baby. And so we're thinking, we're working with possibly having it at the Black Academy Arts and Letters. And then we also are collaborating with some of it with SMU because we have a student block and we also have a youth block. So the youth block is for 10 through 13-year-olds, and then the student block is for any, student that's in high school or any university or college that is studying the film or television program. So
That's neat.
if you know any, filmmakers or anybody in the film industry, experimental film, documentaries, shorts, features, animation, student films, we will take it. Music videos, as long as it has some type of storyline.
Right.
I'll be happy to send you more information.
Likewise, I just know like 10 people on my roster I would love to just recommend to you. Just like they don't let anyone down.
For sure. Well, I definitely will send you the information as soon as we get off the call. But
likewise,
I really appreciate, you for reaching out and having me on, and good to meet you as well. It's Carolyn, right?
Yeah,
It's
Carolyn. Yeah,
okay.
it was great to meet you too.
Thank you so much.
Every
I
6
appreciate it.
seconds.
I look forward to sharing, this episode as well. So
yes,
me too.
Before
and then and then quick plug for me. I would love it if people listen to my podcast. Again, it is called Beyond 6 Seconds. It focuses on neurodiversity. So I interview people who are neurodivergent about their own lived experiences. So what it was like for them growing up, and, what kind of work they do, with what kind of advocacy, and really what, how their neurodivergence intersects with other parts of their identity, people living all in different parts of the world. So it really is a lot of interesting first-person stories and experiences. So you can find all my episodes on beyond6seconds.net. That's my website, and it's got all kinds of information there, including places you can subscribe to my newsletter, find all the episodes, apply to be a guest if you want. And I'd love if you check it out.
Lovely.
Here we go. How's it going?
Very good. Welcome to the show, Kat Diesel, entrepreneur and social media influencer. I had no idea that you used to work at 89.3 KNON. That's pretty awesome.
Oh yeah, KNON 89.3. That was my start in radio. They are awesome people. I was on Latin Energy and the Morning Blend.
Perfect. You're now overseeing various clients such as L25 Music up in Flower Mound. First off, just to close out this mental health and fitness discussion, I think the biggest issue with all of us is we don't make enough time for ourselves. We don't make enough time just like to clear our mind after all the busy happenings each and every day.
Yeah.
How would you say you maintain that? Like you've just taken everything in various steps?
Honestly, I have to separate my professional life from my personal life as much as possible. And then and make sure I make time for my personal time, like actually on my calendar, put time to add for yoga, schedule my yoga, meditation, jogging, taking nature walks. I mean, I have friends that sometimes they want to go on nature walks, sometimes they don't.
Yes.
But if I don't ask, I don't know. But even if they say no, I still want to make sure I get outside. I think it's important to just breathe in fresh air and just open up your lungs a little bit, and also just look around and realize how fortunate we really are.
I concur. I found that when doing just promos for anything, let alone just being on social media, I would just look at my clock. It's like, oh my goodness, an hour went by. That's not acceptable for me. That's not acceptable for anyone. I could have made the important phone calls, could have done all the things that need to be done today, renew insurance, chores, all that. And so
exactly.
But I can't, I'm glad that you stressed the importance of a calendar. Just having that on the phone is like, I look forward to deleting that event or crossing it off as checked off. It is.
That's right.
Go ahead.
I was going to say one of those things too. It's almost like a self-satisfaction whenever you take the time to even like delete old emails.
Yes.
It's like just in the back of your mind. It's almost like a little monkey on your back. Like, okay, I know I have like 100,000 emails I got to get rid of. Like, let's do it today. But then you end up going down the rabbit hole of seeing all these things, like either some savings some way somehow by I work in entertainment, so like hotel stays or any type of travel arrangement or something like that. But I do find myself feeling just satisfied once I go through those emails.
I'm glad you brought up the hotels. That I as part of my security job, I have been fortunate enough to know many people who work in the hotel industry. They're just very
Yeah,
awesome, average Joes, just like any of us. But
yeah,
they're awesome in how, kind of like any, we talked a bit about assertive communication. Give someone a half win is like, I won't walk your dog, but I will babysit your kid. Just some in between. Like,
yeah.
hey, I'm not going to that restaurant with you. I'm allergic to that food, but I'll be the best man at your wedding. Just some in between, half a
Right,
win.
right,
Uh, a different kind of pledge, if you will. Kind of, it can be just like a Kickstarter. Is like, okay,
right.
I don't have $500 in me, but I'll pay $20 extra for this and that. Just something else in the two digits, meet you halfway. But
Yeah,
it is funny. I love people who work in the hotel industry because A, it's more than customer service. You do have to have the magnetic persona, and B, they are all about, let's find a better deal that we realistically can offer you at this venue. It's not what my boss and his sales team wants. It
right.
may not even necessarily be what you want, but it is literally your best bet. There's a free, breakfast, all that
Right.
stuff that's great on paper. And I love it how they'll just describe as like, but this overall goes back to our tasks,
Yep,
multitasking, uh,
yep.
in that the oldest trick in the book is call to confirm. And
Oh, yeah.
they're some of the most helpful people, especially when booking hotels.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
And
man.
they're
And
just
and
like,
also
"Well, what's that say again? Oh, I'm sorry, let me let you inside. This and this are going to display that, even though there's no guarantee of that off the record. You didn't hear it from me. How about I offer you this or that,
yeah,
or
they
help you
just
set up
always
it?"
some way, somehow find a way to make it happen. And I do definitely appreciate that, especially whenever like being on tour and things like that. Outside of working with L25, I work with comedians, magicians, all kinds
Oh,
of entertainers. And I've had different experiences with different clients. And sometimes whenever they see that you are not a struggling artist, but when they see that, you only have a couple of people in your entourage or people trying to help you on tour, um, they humble themselves and they just set us up with the most awesome rooms and you know breakfast that usually is like $25, and maybe they give us
yes,
like a workers discount or something like that, you know what I mean.
I agree.
um and then also some of them offer like meditation rooms or
Oh,
even like
that's great.
quiet rooms. So I have to say that hotels are coming a long way, and the people that are working are the ones that are making that happen. So cheers to the hospitality, people in
That's
hospitality. Yeah.
That's unique. I
Yeah.
We did talk about meditation earlier. Do you use any meditation technique that you recommend everybody just take a minute of their time
Oh
for?
man, absolutely. Sometimes you just need to close your eyes and not think about anything. And even if you do
Yes.
try to, just think about yourself and just how you just want it to just be silent. And sometimes people meditate with music on. It just really
Hmm.
depends. Honestly, I like going grounding outside, and I can meditate outside. I actually prefer that, but everybody's different. Um, but yeah, meditation is very important. Whenever I'm done, usually it makes me just feel so at ease. Not necessarily stress free, because I know obviously I have other things that I have to continue to knock out, goals throughout the week and things, but it just makes it a little bit easier for me to, tackle those tasks. So I do like to meditate.
That's great. Uh, so we recommended a few different devices, some that imitate brain waves, like the Omnipimp. But yeah, I'm glad you brought up music. Is like, yeah, there's all this different kind of meditation music, and
Oh yeah,
like anything, guys, if there's just a tune that's just driving you crazy, or you might prefer the nature sound effects or some other just
there you
neutral
go.
sound that just puts you
I
at ease.
love nature sound effects, and like just I love it whenever you hear rain, and then like if you hear birds chirping in the rain.
Yes,
Oh my god, that's like the coolest thing. Like especially when you hear it in real life. Over YouTube or whatever, that's awesome, but real life, it's just the best.
especially if it's winter time, you're like, yeah, there realistically are no,
Yeah, like
robins
how are they
outside.
even alive right now?
Yeah, but I do that at work. I've just started getting in the habit. Is like, okay, not going to be glutton for punishment. Also, not going to be Mr. Nanny. Not going to be, bossing everyone around. But I try to say, hey, you're on your phone. It's 20 minutes before you start your shift. do you need time alone? Sometimes they're like,
Yeah.
no, man, just tell me. And others are like, yeah, just hold on. I'm still on a
Yep.
family or second job call. I'm like, okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm over here. Come and get
You
me. You're
understand.
done.
Yeah.
I, I, we don't like it. So why would I instigate the
Right.
same
I
thing?
mean, even with people that work from home, I'm sure there's sometimes where like they have to be stuck on the phone or in,
Yes.
online meetings or something. And it's just like they need a break too. And it's like, hopefully those people are setting time aside to, even if it's 5, 10 minutes, just to get away from everything and just
Hmm.
close your eyes. Think of
Concur.
nothing.
Oh, and thinking of nothing, it is possible. It's just, we like to just kind of think, I shouldn't say
But
all, some people like to make it be not a reality. It's like, okay, well, just you can clear your mind in so many different ways. Like, if it means putting your phone down, sure, just start that.
oh yeah.
I close.
Yep.
Boom.
Step one is turn off your phone.
Let's go there. These are red light glasses as we're having in our meeting, but
Cool. Okay,
also,
okay.
and I found that another thing that was getting in the way, this might affect others. Read
Okay.
something before bedtime. They do recommend, especially when
Yep.
it will make your brain say, "Hey, enough. I've used enough energy." But one thing that can be annoying is everyone's tempted to look at the newest social media update, or it might be a social event that's very triggering, very upsetting. And I'm
Mm,
like, okay, I'm going to a text site. I'm
yep.
not going onto Instagram. I've been on there all day. I'm not going onto Google News. There's going to be something that I'm
It's
like,
something. It is always something.
I need to
And that's
gloat on that at lunchtime, not at
yep,
2 in the morning.
yep, exactly. And also just again, schedule your social media time. That's helpful too.
Yes.
Because I mean, why not? Everybody's gonna do it, but it doesn't have to be done all day long.
No.
Just limit yourself. It's all about discipline. And again, that's a part of, being healthy. It's a healthy mind.
Yes.
I mean, of course, if you're looking up, you're researching something and, it's for work, it's understandable. There's times whenever, like, I do have clients that I handle their TikTok accounts and things like that. And um, strategically, I have to be online a lot, and there's some days
Yes.
when I'm just like, oh my God, I just want to turn off the phone. And I do, but I have to schedule it. So with my clients, I do have like literally 3 hours of time because you have to generate um, engagements, with the audience online before and after the posting. So it takes time to do that beforehand. It's almost like, pre-production, the actual production, and then post-production of just a TikTok, but it actually has a lot, of, like I said, strategy. So that way I can keep up with the algorithms because they are crazy. But this specific client I'm talking about, he actually has almost 1 million views on Facebook right now. He's a mortician. And I know that this is like, again, about mental health, but he does talk about death
It
positivity.
will impact his mental health, especially if he's
Exactly.
doing a
So
self help talk.
he's taught me so much. Yes. And his fans genuinely love him and respect him and his work, ethic. And he does preach about death positivity. And I do believe that that's part of mental health as well.
That's some Mr.
So
Rogers level stuff. Is
it
like,
is.
hey,
He's
I
like
am
the
not,
mortician, Mr. Rogers mortician.
yeah, I am not negating. I am not acting like death is not upon us. It will be. I'm just
Yeah.
letting you know you can cope with it in so many different ways instead of, continually let it eat you up without
Yes.
forgetting. That's the other thing too, is like just tell people I am listening, but I am also kind of like we cut out certain things that just drive us crazy. Like, hey, I'm in my office, can't have any pets in here. It just, I don't know. It might make me claustrophobic. I don't know. It might agitate me. Or hey, I need this thing here on this desk. We all have our little quirks, just
Right, right.
things that you might say, hey, absolutely no music in this part of the office. I don't know why. It drives me crazy the way it echoes. Just anything. And it's like we're just kind of like with death. It's like, hey, I'm not acting like it's all gone away and not existent. It is
Mhm.
existent. It's just more how do I just, you know, slowly, cry on it and then think on it. And
Just
it,
process it.
it
Processing it. I mean,
I kind of almost equate it to many think we can't give a speech. Yes, you can. I found out my routine was take my glasses off, ignore all the different, stupid grins and smiles and for whatever
Right.
I'm speaking on. It's like
Right.
they don't
Right.
matter right now. I matter right now
Yeah.
because I'm about to tell something that other people are going to hopefully take away. Speak
Yep.
coherently. Uh, I took a speech class in college and it's like, man, I am so insistent on talking way too fast. That's got to stop. No one can
Right.
possibly keep up or hear what I'm saying when I'm talking very, very, very fast.
Yeah. Too fast. Yep. That's true.
And so if glasses are part of it, that's cool. But then just anything else that is just getting on your nerves and it inevitably someone is going to be rude and try to distract, is like you might get a jerk in the audience. You can't avoid that, but
Yeah.
you can only make yourself matter more right now. So I do applaud anyone who's speaking on life changes, end of the
Yeah.
life, and then saying, hey, just this is more than what you value in remembering this beloved one or
Yep.
your own personal health. This is also this this doesn't need to be a less beautiful time of your life either. Like,
Yeah. Yep.
uh,
Yeah. So yeah, working with, I'm considered a marketing and entertainment strategist. So, there's a strategy for every type of person, whether you're an entertainer or you're just a normal person has a 9 to 5 job. Because technically, maybe they're not normal people to them. Like they are
yeah,
superheroes in their own right. You know what I mean? I'm not judging anyone. But I do feel that if you don't organize your day, it can lead to a little disorganization in your mind, and then that's not healthy. So if that is the case, then go on that jog or walk, get outside and just try to maintain it. But
that's great.
overall, I mean, I just would, my advice is just get up every day knowing that this is your best day to live. So live it and,
Yes,
stay positive,
even if
be
you are
positive,
sick,
positive lights. Yeah.
yeah,
Even if you know,
don't actually be like bedridden. Like I try to
right,
get up,
right.
stretch.
Yes, exactly.
But that's
And
cool that they're overseeing some social media, and that's already taxing as it is. You're going to get helpful comments, you're going to get bot comments,
yes,
and then you're going to get the unhelpful trolls like,
right.
"Oh, do you
Oh
look
my
like
gosh.
so and so? Blah blah blah. Had a baby with this person." And you're like, "What? I, I'm going to block the person and move on." They
Listen,
they just
exactly.
want an ugly remark, and or they're
They're baiting.
insecure and they're
They
looking
bait.
for anything.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
and
Yep.
half the time you'll just be laughing at it and like, really? What does that even mean? Is that an insult? I don't know what that means. That's stupid. So I'm moving
Yep.
on.
Yep. Yep.
It's a shame we can't delete some of these comments. It would be really helpful right now.
Oh my gosh, I'm telling you,
But at
man.
the same time, if I've already blocked them, they technically don't exist. So
Right. But it's just sad that other people can still see the BS. Yeah.
someone asked
But
that
again,
almost take that
limit
back.
yourself on social media
Yes.
and hopefully, you won't see as much of it so you won't think about it as much. Even though we know that it's this world that we live in right now, we're all existing in it. So we
Yes.
need to just try to cope with it as peaceful as we can every day.
It is wild how you brought up TikTok, and that's one of many sites, much like Amazon, Spotify, Twitter,
Right.
is like we're just trying to use the resource, even though we might not like the mind behind said resource. So it's just like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm going to use it for what I need to use it for. There have been accounts which are simply there to ask loaded questions, and for whatever reason, they can level up and make their post more visible. And I have had to just force myself is like, okay, I'm not going to engage with that. They don't really care about the answer to so-called question, but
Yeah.
it's working. It's the simplest thing in the book. I asked a question.
And then it's frustrating too whenever you do have people pinging your account, trying to get you shadow banned or something like that.
Yes.
Like it's a nightmare, but thankfully there are people that are actually, that are working to review these types of, accusations, and sometimes there's a good a good outcome and sometimes there's not. I've actually unfortunately dealt with the bad and thankfully the good. So you guys got to rock with it and
It wouldn't
hope
be a
that your
normal
algorithm
day.
stays steady.
Yeah, it would not be normal if there was only good, only bad. So
Right.
I'm
Right.
glad you brought up though how you're having to find out your own strategy with this,
Oh yeah.
with posting and social media and seeing how the website is designed. Because that's the other thing too. Everybody's got their own take on it.
Yep.
It's hard to kind of many
You
like to
can't
argue about the algorithm.
you can't please everybody.
Yeah,
So, the followers that like you, they're gonna keep following you and they're gonna refer you, and that's just it. That's the
yep.
best way is the organic way.
My father does website marketing and
Oh,
everything, and it's interesting hearing, you know, he's been in he's told me about just endless conversations where everyone's got heavily opinionated takes on it. Is like, that's fine. I'm glad that works for you. Now, how do we make it work for this person who doesn't want to use that or this or that? It's is interesting how, aside from time and money, you're gonna unfortunately get a lot of people who's like, I want to be the bigger voice in the room, and we're gonna go with my idea. And regardless of what research you're using to justify your final
right.
decision, is like, well,
Egos exist in every room.
that's fine. Yeah.
Especially online.
The best story he ever told me though was he met a guy who, we're talking college in the 80s. He was in marketing and he was like, you'll never have a chance in hell at doing any of this. He meets that
Boo.
man a decade later and he's washed up and everything, and he just flat out tells him, hey, remember me? You're the jerk who said I couldn't do this. It wasn't even to necessarily rub it in so much as just be like, you're downright wrong. You need to
Yeah,
actually just treat people with respect instead of just
yeah.
telling them just insecure stuff and
Yep.
then disguising that as advice. Is like telling me I'm nothing. How is that advice? you know,
Right.
that would be like if you just came up to me as like, you'll never be
Yeah.
whatever you're trying to
Doesn't make
be.
any sense. It's like
Or
that
if I
makes
said a trolling comment, is like, what?
I guess it just makes them feel better
I
about
guess.
things. I don't know. I'm not really sure. I ignore those people.
Oh, how cool that you worked with a bunch of different music talent. I've been fortunate enough to work on them. I still got a music video idea concept left in me. We would just have to talk
Oh,
and sit down.
okay. Yeah, that'd be
But
awesome.
it is interesting too. I was just like, hey, just I don't think every music talent is not living on this earth. And just because someone might be odd doesn't necessarily mean that's weird to everyone, or
Right.
we're all just different personas. Like we just all
Right, right.
have different rhythms.
Yeah.
As long as, I don't know, there's just nothing out of bounds or just flat out rude, I don't see a reason to just not talk to someone.
Yeah. Yeah, but unfortunately not everybody thinks like that.
How
And
dare they're
that's
not like
where
me?
hopefully they're into therapy. They can somebody can help them. I don't know.
Have you ever had that before? I did have some wonderful therapy 3 years
Oh,
ago,
absolutely.
and it is
Oh,
amazing. They're all
yeah.
money
I will
grabbers, blah
say
blah blah.
therapy and comedy has always kept me out of depression. So,
Comedy.
yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Uh, I talked earlier about improv comedy. It is funny
Yeah.
how just any kind of comedy, any of us can do it, but everyone just thinks it has to be this level or that level. Is like literally the most dry remark about reacting to something, it will get someone to chuckle. That's good enough for anything. You may
Some of
not
it,
have even
I mean,
intended that, but
the stuff that they post online, some of it is not funny at all, and it's like
no,
it's viral. It's ridiculous.
yeah, they're
But
having the last
being a
laugh.
stage comedian is totally different than obviously a TikTok influencer. But I do know that a lot of TikTok influencers have got their start in comedy um,
I would
because of
hope.
it. So shout out to them.
A bunch of people I took a comedy class with were all studying to be realtors and
Oh
other
wow.
business gurus. So it's like they just wanted the kind of just the fearlessness of
Okay.
talking on a stage. So it is all. It just makes you realize there's so many semi-related things. So
Yeah.
my
Yep.
sister works for parts of the city, like the different gyms and everything. But you know, that could be get her to the office job she wants to go to, or that might get her to a similar kind of job that's at a desk. Or it might
Yes.
lead to something even better.
Or it can just lead to her being a more patient person to go and do whatever job she wants to do later.
Well, you're actually
You
on the
know?
money. She is way more patient now. So that's the other funny thing. It is like
Yeah.
not patient with parents, but she is patient with just customers in general.
If you're
And
getting paid for it, you
I told her
know.
for years about the customer's always right thing. Is like, it's not really, it's just You know,
You
it's a statement. It
yeah.
it
Yep.
has a layer of truth as long as we put truth into it, even though customers will inevitably ask you for the moon and everything else, and you're like, that's not possible, but I'll give you some semi-realistic expectation. I'll meet you halfway. Something that won't get me fired. If I flat out negate, then I'm definitely not doing my job. If I give you something that we could offer, like a discount at the restaurant or a gym membership, maybe we're doing something right. I don't know.
Yeah.
Um, with life setting goals, have you felt like something different has changed each year as you come along? I really like New Year's resolutions, even those most shrug it off.
um, I want to say that this year I'm gonna work even harder. I don't know, like I feel like I already work hard, but I'm gonna work even harder. Just because I need to. I mean, I'm saving for retirement.
That's
I'm
awesome.
single. I I have to take that in consideration. So I am self-employed, and
You answer to you.
yeah,
You answer to you.
yeah. So, but I do. The fact that you have this particular show for health and wellness, I'm very happy to hear that because
I had so much smack talk. Everyone's like, "What you doing in mental health and you talk pop culture?" I'm like, "There's no limit." I said from
yeah.
the start, we validate everybody, but we're
Hey,
not
yeah.
talking about pop culture today. We're talking about something
Yeah,
that
no,
impacts
this
everybody.
is great. I do believe that it is important that that is brought to surface with every type of business, whether you are a business owner or you work for a small family business, you work for a corporation. You know, it's just I'm hoping that more people add something like this, like workshops, even to employ like to their employees to say, hey, like let's take a break and let's discuss mental health and wellness. You know what I mean? So I do applaud
Totally.
you guys for making this happen. And if you guys ever needed me or wanted to work
Yes.
with me outside of in any other type of categories,
You know it.
comedy, music, magic, whatever, just let me know.
You got it. I'm actually going to make use of the Meetup app. I've seen so many do just shy away from that. It's like there's plenty of social groups. You just got to look for the keyword
Yeah,
and everything. But yes,
absolutely.
I will take you up on that. See, we just made a connection.
For sure. Yeah,
I,
contact me anytime. It's my pleasure.
I see so many who like talking face to face, but they're nervous to ask or send an email. I'm like, or and vice versa. They love it is kind of like talking smack online, but in person, that same troll is going to be hesitant to give an insult to someone face to face. So it is
Yeah.
interesting how I think we all have to conquer our fear of either in person or social media. Is like be human. Just
Yeah, I would definitely say so. I would say past or during the pandemic, I had to reinvent myself. And
it won't be the last.
I had to learn, like, basically how to live stream people. That's what I did. I learned how to live stream people, and I was trying to live stream. Actually, L25. She was one of my first productions
There you
through New
go.
Cat City, my business name. Yeah. And I really wanted New Cat City to be just a live streaming service to go to record concerts, or have my own stage at a studio and have people come in and do concerts because it was during the pandemic. All the stages were shut down, all the businesses were closed. So
Secondary
um,
option.
yeah, and then once the doors started opening back, I wanted to make sure that my clients were able to get on those stages again. So I started booking talent and going on tour again. And so now going back to your question, I'm definitely reinventing myself. I didn't make necessarily any, New Year's resolutions, but like I said, I'm going to work harder. And my clients, they're growing. So even though I'm working harder, it's like I have to keep up with them. You know what I
Yes.
mean? And eventually, I hope that I have clients that just blossom so much that they either hire me on full time. That's what I'm
Hey,
really hoping for. Or, to the point where I only have maybe 2 to 3 clients that I can focus on and then work as hard as I can for them and then retire, you know, um,
work but
honestly,
not
I say
overwork.
retire in entertainment. That just means that hopefully I have a nice stack of money and places I can go to, stay at. I don't have to worry about, worrying about hotel stays.
Yes.
However, if I do, I know that the hospitality would be, unmatched, because I know the clients that I work with, they only want to be at places that they're comfortable at,
Hmm.
and would have me, want me to be comfortable at. So I really take my job very seriously when it comes to my clients, and
And not overwork.
that's not overwork them and not overwork myself. Just you got to have that life and that mental health
Hmm.
business balance.
Bingo.
Yeah.
I like the whole idea of just like recreating is like, yeah, just like we weren't the same person in junior high, college,
Right.
post high
Yeah.
school, it's just
We're not
like
the same people post pandemic.
even the
I
lives
mean,
we weren't
if
the
you
same
are, I
person.
mean, you're losing out.
We weren't
There's
even the
so
same
much going on.
person 2 to 3 years ago. That's how
Yeah.
crazy this is. This is like
Yeah.
uh, the
Yeah.
activities we do, the kind of humor we have in us, and like, yeah, I don't make jokes like that anymore. It's too snarky or too
Yeah.
cynical.
True. True. And the fact that you can look like you're in Hawaii right now.
Yeah, the Zoom.
I know you guys can't see us, but
You got a better
he's,
office than me, though,
he's
just so you know. But
Yeah.
yes, this is an illusion. I might get to the point where I need to just get rid of that
I
background.
was gonna say this is a mental health and wellness. You must be out there getting, your mai tais and massages in over there.
No, no. I could start. But I see what you mean. Yeah, is like there's all kinds of stuff is like we might be interested in or we're not interested in initially, but that might be the best thing for us right now. It's
Yep.
interesting how it's little small things. And
Yep.
I just try to justify why I would say yes or no. Because half the time I'll find a plot hole and the reasoning is like, I don't really know this subject as well as I think I do. Maybe I should actually have a coming to Jesus moment on that. Why do you not want to eat in this 5-star restaurant? Why do you not want to go to this kind of hotel? It looks funny. Well, it's great inside, So it's interesting how we'll just little small things is like, yeah, you're kind of prejudgmental on this. I would reevaluate that statement. Maybe it's harmless. Maybe you just had a bad assumption. You were going on your gut. Sometimes your gut instinct is wrong, which
Right.
stinks because sometimes that's all we have. I found that's an interesting predicament. It's like, did you go on a fact? Did you go on any research? Did you just go on your gut? Like, well, I was out in the middle of nowhere. I didn't have Wi-Fi or cellular
I
data, so
know.
I used my gut as an
A hot
instinct.
spot,
Yeah, had I had
you
more
know.
time, I might have read an article.
Hey, I'm going to tell you this though. I will say that if you do have the money, then go ahead and book that vacation so you can have a little mental, break and check out of work for a second.
That's why I do one road trip a year, maybe
There
two.
you go. Staycations are nice too. Staycations are nice too. So
And don't
I'm not
make
going to knock the staycation.
that is true. And it is wild how before you know it, a lot of people do the whole, oh, I don't want to have to make time for prepping to go back to work or normal life. It's like, it's fine. You'll just remember, you'll just be glad that you did have a me time. But I
Yep.
find that as long as you don't make the vacation become an ordeal, that is the thing. So you might say, I want to travel this way or that way because when I travel this way, I don't get the flight I want or the hotel I need. Not
Right.
doing that anymore. I personally don't fly. I just gives me anxiety.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with fear of crashing or anything. None of that. And that was so funny how I had to tell people. It was like, I just do not sleep well the next month or so. And I don't know why. I've seen some
Hmm.
weird studies linked to that. I was like, well, either way, I've just never enjoyed it. So I'm just gonna I love
Yeah, it's
driving.
not. I got you.
I'm in complete control of that.
Yep. Yep. What's the furthest that you've driven for your road trips?
Oh man. Always going back and forth. We got Iowa, California, we got
Wow.
so many other different states, and
Nice.
last year was Tampa, so that was cool. But
Nice. You drove all the way to Tampa?
yes, and
That's
it was so
awesome.
funny
I
that
love Tampa.
I encounter people who are fearful of driving. I'm like, why? And so that was just like, okay, I'm sorry that annoys you. At least you have an option in flying. I'm gonna drive. That just is way more better. Just go at my own pace. Will I spend more time and money? Sure, but there's no rush to it. And yeah, you shouldn't rush on a road trip. That's for sure. But yes,
No.
you are right. Tampa is fun, but I think the other beauty of a trip is then you look forward to doing that trip another time because there's no way to get it all in one,
That's true.
unless you
That's true.
stay there a whole month.
Yeah. That is one thing though. When it comes to having, only 5 days or 6 days, maybe 7 days, like to get there, to drive there, it takes probably 2 days. You're there maybe 2 days, and then you got to come back, and then one day to rest, hopefully. But
Always rest. What's the best place you've gone to?
what's that?
What's the best place you've gone to? Would you say
The best place I've ever been to, like not necessarily driving, just gone.
travel? Anything?
Okay, I'm gonna say Cabo
Alright,
San Lucas,
cool.
only because I had the chance to ride, like to actually get on, like to ride a horse on the beach. Like
Nice.
they didn't just let us walk; they like actually let us ride it, and I could not believe it. It was like the best adrenaline rush I've ever had. It was so cool, um, and it was just beautiful. It was just absolutely beautiful, and so I'm looking forward to. I've, we talk about health and wellness. I'm actually going on my first official retreat. I've been saving.
Nice.
I've been saving, and I'm going on my first official health and wellness retreat. And this first quarter of the year, I'm looking forward to it. It's actually going to be in Mexico as well, in Tulum.
Sweet.
So we'll see how it compares to Cabos, because Cabos, it was a trip. It was actually a bonus for one of my clients, thankfully, because I couldn't afford that trip.
30 of 1,000 goals.
But my goal was to go back to Mexico to visit another beautiful place like it, and so I chose Tulum this time.
Perfect.
So I'm really looking forward to that. So I'll keep you posted on if you want to talk about your next year's health and wellness.
You know it.
Give you a little recap of my Tulum trip.
But that's cool too. Like you put the hourglass on that goal. There's nothing more that you want to invest in when it's just like this is a bigger bucket list.
Oh
This is
yeah,
another big personal thing. Is like, yeah.
yes.
I didn't do this for a client. I didn't do this for
No,
friends or family.
I
Like,
finally invested in myself to do this. I'm very, very excited.
and by
And I
no
think,
means am I saying we're trying to be selfish. This is like sometimes
oh
there's
yeah,
just a
no,
personal
oh no, I
thing.
don't think so. Yeah, no, no, no. I
Yeah.
know I have not been selfish at all. I've literally
No, you're good. I'm just saying.
sacrificed a lot.
Just a disclaimer. I just
Yeah, no.
it is interesting though how is like that personal vacation it will stay with you just like a wonderful conversation or a joke someone
Yes.
keeps telling you.
Yeah, for sure.
Take
Um,
photos.
but I was gonna say, what about you? Where's the best place that you've gone to?
Ah, man, I enjoy some of the different festivals to see in downtown San
Oh,
Francisco, but
oh,
there's always that's the other thing too is like there's definitely a few different conventions, maybe even business conferences I would love to just kind of casually just lean in and see what those are about. But I'm not crossing anything off at this point. It's like, yeah, there's so many different things that I should check out. I owe it to myself, even though the venue has changed or that famous place has different management that's divisive among fans. It's like, it might be cool to just check this out, see why it is the way it claims that it is, you know.
yeah. Wow.
Uh,
Yeah, I've never. Biggest festival I've ever been to is, I guess, Mardi Gras
Oh,
in New
there you
Orleans.
go. That's a start. That's a start. You've been there. I
But
haven't. I heard it's great.
I've
It's
been
great.
there during New Year's Eve also, and it's very similar to Mardi Gras, but just less of everything.
It's a bit of everything, but I know what you mean. Yeah, it's a little more
Yeah,
reserved, but hey,
but I
that's
had a
neat.
really good time. Yeah, I do love
And
New Orleans.
it does have some good stuff, but it is interesting also how like when you go to an in-person event, you will meet some of the nicest people who want to make everyone's day better, and they're going to remember the compliments they were given. It's like, man, so and so is the powerhouse. How do you bartend? How do you,
Yeah,
make this drink? How do you event plan with us other event planners? I don't.
yeah. Oh, absolutely. I definitely feel like people that are in service or hospitality, service and hospitality, they really know how to engage with other people just willingly, and it's so pure because it's not like you want anything from them. Just like you're just a nice person. You just want to be nice,
Yes.
and there's actually a lot of nice people out there that you can have conversations with when you're not in a rush. Sometimes, like I mean, I consider myself a nice person, but if I
Yes,
am in a rush, I literally have to tell people like, "Hey, listen, I'm usually very chatty, but I can't chat right now because I'm very busy. But let's
worst time.
schedule a time to call. Like that's
All the
because I don't
info.
want them to think that I'm rude. I hate that. I hate when I feel like I'm being dismissed or something like that.
Yes.
It's an awkward feeling. I know it's on myself. It's how I'm making myself feel, but it is it happens every now and then.
Yeah, just choosing those last words is like not flaking, but terrible time. Here's this option, here's this other option, and if all these free options don't work, well, I guess it's not
Right.
meant to be. It is wild too, just people who are uh doing hospitality is like they are looking for some of them aren't looking for any kind of gratification, even though they really need it right now.
Yeah.
It's funny how
Yeah.
it can come
Sure.
in so many ways. It's like, okay, you don't
Yeah.
want a hug, you don't want a handshake. I'm giving you a big giant smile, knowing you're awesome, you're the man, you rock.
Yeah.
But yeah, and kudos to them. Sometimes they're just like, hey, I want to close the
Yeah.
shop on time. No more than 20 minutes after or something like that. Yeah,
Right on.
well, I'm glad you're getting gratification from your work. I'm in an
I
okay
am.
place, but there's still plenty of stuff that any of us can explore and figure out. And
Oh yeah. Hey, just real quick, I know we're
sure,
gonna wrap up in a little bit, but I was gonna ask, did you get a chance to see the guy that climbed the skyscraper? He
uh,
Okay, it was if you look up the hashtag skyscraper live,
it's a TV program. Oh
this
yes, yeah.
this man, he's known for climbing, and I didn't know this. And I watched it live, but I also had to work. So I was listening to my client's symphony.
Alex
So the
Honnold.
symphony was
Okay.
playing while I'm watching this guy climb, and I swear I was watching like an action hero movie. It was so cool. I literally, it looked like he was gonna fall several times. I was so nervous.
I do. I'll meet you
Isn't
halfway.
that
I
crazy?
do. I do make the Olympics be a part of the normal viewing because these are all literally superhumans, and it's not about even winning half the time. It's just about
It's like
having their
just
5 minutes of
watching
fame.
them.
But yeah, no, that's awesome. I think I saw it trending and I didn't know what it was. I didn't click on it,
Yeah,
but
I just
Alex
wanted to
Honnold.
bring him up specifically because he just said that that was one of his goals, that he wanted to climb the tallest building in the world. And I just thought, man, like, what an example to set. Not saying that everybody has to climb buildings now, but like to say, like, reach for your goals and like you can actually obtain them. Like, put it out there in the world and it can happen.
I did do rock climbing years ago at a
Uh
bowling place, and it was awesome because I said if I can climb up halfway to this room, I can probably pass that biology science exam that's
oh.
next week. I got a C, but that's not the point. I wasn't, I was like, I just need to challenge myself. Even though we're doing this
Challenge. There
for
you
fun, we're doing
go.
this for giggles, it's more to it than that. It's like, yeah,
Exactly.
get over that. It's better than the real thing. It's not any easier, It's a real rock climbing.
Yeah.
And we can all do it in just little small ways. It's like, hey,
Yeah.
I do this chore this way. I've never done it this way. I've never cooked this food this way. It takes too much
That's right.
time. It might be better. It might be more
Yep.
nutritious.
You don't try it, you don't know.
Yep. The fear of the unknown is still pressing, and anyone who says I've gotten over it is like, no, no, no. There's always something that we have to challenge ourselves on each year.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Great having you on.
Thank you.
Hope the day is taking you exactly where you need it to.
It was awesome. It's been a great day. I really appreciate this.
We'll return after these messages.
If you like small-town mystery, crazy news, and wild history, then the Florida Men on Florida Man podcast is for you. Each week, Josh Mills and Wayne McCarty bring you the absolute best Florida has to offer. So if you're looking for a show that's safe for the family, but funny enough to help you escape everyday life, then listen to the Florida Men on Florida Man podcast. That's Florida Men, plural, on Florida Man podcast.
Do you ever find yourself thinking about who would win in a fight between Goku and Superman? Hi, I'm James Gabsy, and on the Who Would Win show, me and my co-host Ray ignore anything important happening in the outside world and debate fictional battles between characters from comics, movies, and video games.
We got a new show every week, and almost always am I the winner.
Yeah, not true, Ray.
In the past, we've discussed such matches as Captain America versus Darth Vader, Solid Snake versus the Iron Giant, classic matchups like RoboCop versus Terminator, and even the Muppets versus Sesame Street.
That one was crazy. So if you're a fan of geek culture and love a spirited debate, check out the Who Would Win show wherever you get your podcasts, or check us out at whowouldwinshow.com.
Follow us on the web on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. The podcast is available on Podbean, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor, Apple, and anywhere else podcasts are available. Feel free to review our show and leave comments on any of those sites. Thanks a million for listening.
It's a jacked up